Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I have some terrible news. International football is upon us, which means we have to put a pause on all of this incredible club football action we have been seeing lately. I'm just kidding. I feel sorry for anyone that's thinking like that, as we're about to see one of the most incredible international breaks, apart from any major international tournaments, obviously. The World Cup qualifiers are back for so many nations, and it is finally beginning in UEFA. The only unfortunate thing is not every single country will be playing in this World Cup qualifier break for UEFA specifically. That's because some are embarking on their Nations League journey. Some are in that final bracket and others are in a playoff round. The ones that are in that final bracket though, those matches will determine which group each of them are placed in. I will be uploading a separate video for all my Nations League predictions, but now this video will fully focus on the World Cup qualifiers, which will be beginning match days 1 and 2. We have a total of 24 matches to go through in this video in specific though, so some matches I will be more brief on than others. But yeah, regardless, even though we are not seeing every single European team play in the World Cup qualifiers yet, I'm still so excited that it is finally beginning, and I cannot wait to kick off this series with you guys where I predict every single match day going forward. So please, if you have not already, don't forget to leave an early like and subscribe if you're new. It helps me out a lot. Anyway, let's get into it, starting off with already a banger, Cyprus versus San Marino. Normally this match might not be getting the most attention, but San Marino are on a decent run of form, you know. They have just topped their Nations League group and picked up 2 competitive wins for the first time in their history last calendar year. They were both against Liechtenstein, and although San Marino did not win any of their other matches, they did put off some decent performances in the Euro qualifiers not too long ago either, with close fights against the likes of Finland, Denmark, and Kazakhstan. Cyprus have definitely not been in a good run of form themselves recently. They have been shut down by quite a few teams. However, when it is against a quote-unquote minnow, they tend to do the job. And not to mention, they did play San Marino not that long ago in June, where they did pick up a 4-1 victory. So although most of the world will continue to root for the worst ranked national team in the world, unfortunately, I just don't see it. I do think Cyprus can come out here with the win. They're playing at home as well. I reckon they'll get a 3-0 victory against the mighty San Marino. But please, Titani, prove me wrong. We move on now to England versus Albania. Just like the Sidemen charity match, this game will be played at Wembley. But unfortunately, I do not see it being so end-to-end like the Sidemen charity match though. England are definitely the heavy favorites in this. There's just no denying it. With or without Tuchel at the helm, if they do not get first place in this group, it would be an embarrassment for them. Of course, they cannot rule out the likes of Albania or Serbia. I think those are 2 very strong national teams that can put off a fight. Albania, as I mentioned in many videos in the past, under Silvino, they are looking much more dangerous of a team. In the Euro tournament, they also put off some notable performances. Despite being grouped at the end, it was the group of death, to be fair. They definitely should not lose sight. I mean, Greece did defeat England at Wembley not too long ago, but this is Tuchel's first match in charge for the 3 Lions, and I don't think he'll want to disappoint here, especially with the thrilling home crowd. I really do love how Albania gelled together, and in the Euro qualifiers, they would only score bangers. I want to see at least one in this match. It could happen, but I still see England going away with this one. Albania, te dua. But I think it's going to finish 3-1 for England at Wembley. I am waiting for their match against Serbia, though, in June, which, as we've seen from previous events, definitely should not be happening, but I still kind of want to go. Moving on now to Andorra versus Latvia. I think this one's either going to finish in a draw or a win for Latvia. Andorra winning is as rare as Arsenal not bottling a title race. In 2024, they defeated San Marino, but prior to that, their last win was over 2 years ago. It's also going to be a very crucial 3 points for Latvia if they want to have any chance to fight in this difficult group for them. I think they will prevail though with the 2-0 away victory. This one will be tough to predict though. Romania versus Bosnia. Romania definitely have more to show off for than Bosnia in recent years. They actually qualified for the Euro 2024 tournament. They qualified for the knockouts as well, getting first place in their group, and they also topped their Nations League group. That being said, the Nations League is pretty bad to compare though, as Bosnia have been placed in League A of the Nations League, where they absolutely got smoked, but still without a doubt there was tougher competition. The problem though is that they did not pick up a single win in all of 2024. And even in the Euro qualifiers prior, they were heavily disappointing, not placed in the toughest group and still finishing second to last, only above Liechtenstein. I do think this is the perfect opportunity for Bosnia to find their footing once again though, as the last time they showed some convincing form was when they were in a Nations League group with Romania. They obviously have some great striker options with Demirovic and veteran Edin Dzeko, but Romania really seemed to have a solid defensive unit. That being said, one of their best players on paper in the center back department is injured for the rest of the season. Also, Olaru picked up an injury and definitely will be missing this fixture. That's 2 quite crucial players for the Romanian national team gone, but they still have a very solid foundation to prove that they probably are the favorites going into this fixture, just basing it off of recent form. But that being said, in Matchday 1, this is probably still the most 50-50 matchup to call. I am rooting for Bosnia here, but I think both sides will fall short a bit with the 1-1 draw. Poland versus Lithuania next. Poland on the Probe years has definitely been somewhat of a roller coaster, obviously redeeming themselves and qualifying after having that scare of not making it to Euro 2024, getting grouped, but they were in a very difficult one, and they still put off some good fights, to then finishing 4th place in the Nations League group, bottling any chance to at least make it to the playoffs. The only thing Lithuania have done recently, though, is be able to beat their Baltic neighbors. Poland, without a doubt, have what it takes to get a solid start in this World Cup qualifier campaign and get 3 points. I'm saying they're able to defeat Lithuania 2-0. Moving on now to a very interesting match, though. Malta versus Finland. Finland should be the favorites on paper, but this will be a mystery year for them, as they just sacked their long-term manager Kanerva and brought on the Danish tactician Friis. Some of those famous players are also somewhat losing their spark overall, but at the same time, somewhat a new generation is emerging. The thing about Malta is they randomly pick up some interesting draws here and there, so they could trouble Finland in their first match in the World Cup qualifiers. Definitely a possibility, but I'm going to play it safe and say Finland get a 3-1 victory away. Moving on now to Liechtenstein versus Macedonia. Liechtenstein beaten by San Marino twice in 2024. You cannot trust them. While Macedonia overall have been in very, very good form, topping their Nations League group. I would be shocked if Macedonia cannot get 3 points here. It's just a matter of how many goals they'll score, but I think they have what it takes to get 5. I'm saying they win this one 5-0. Moving on now to Moldova versus Norway. Can they finally push through for a World Cup? Will we finally see Holland play at a major international tournament?
Why not?
Well, their group is not easy here, and Moldova are no pushovers. Let's not forget what they did in the last Euro qualifier campaign, not allowing Poland to beat them once. Without a doubt, they are an exciting underdog that have emerged. But in some of their recent fixtures, it just seems like they somewhat lost that fighting spirit as they went 2 neck and neck with some other minnows. Norway's still showing their inconsistencies at times, but recently they've been having a lot of matches where they score loads of goals, and they also top their Nations League group, so I'm definitely favoring them to get 3 points in this fixture. And also they do it quite convincingly with the 4-0 victory. Let's move on now to Montenegro versus Gibraltar. Montenegro's last match will have them coming off of a high, as they upset Turkey, defeating them 3-1. Kristovic getting a hat-trick, and they played some solid counter-attacking football. They've also still been relying on the veteran Jovetic, and even though they are definitely still somewhat of an underdog in European football, I do think that they can thrive in this match under Prosinecki. I'm saying we see another blowout with a 3-0 victory for Crna. Next up is Israel versus Estonia. Now, Israel, despite finishing 4th place in their Nations League group, it was in Ligue A, and they put off some really good fights at the end, holding off France to a 0-0 draw and also defeating Belgium 1-0. I do think they're showing promising signs under Ram Ben Shimon. Estonia, although they won the Baltic Cup, still get battered far too many times. Unless they're playing Azerbaijan. Israel are winning this match for me. I'm saying it finishes 2-0. Czechia versus the Faroe Islands. Definitely Czech Republic are the favorites in this match with the squad they have on paper, just topping their Nations League group. But Ivan Hasek is still under redemption mode and is looking to qualify for the World Cup with this nation. Hložek will be missing, but Patrick Schick being fit is obviously key. The Faroe Islands randomly pull off some upsets. We saw them defeat Armenia not that long ago in November, even holding off Macedonia to a draw at one point. Still, too inconsistent of a side. If Croatia do lose their match against France in the Nations League for the quarterfinals, they will have Czechia as a future opponent, and I think Czech Republic will want to prepare and start off strong, as they know they're going to have some serious competition no matter if they get Hrvatska or France. So I'm saying they win this match 4-1. And the final match for Matchday 1, but we still have Matchday 2 to go over, Wales versus Kazakhstan. Wales just snatching that first place spot in their Nations League group from Turkey. They just nearly qualified for the Euros, only missing out from a penalty shootout against Poland. They showed a convincing win prior to that against Finland, and even in the Nations League put off some convincing displays like scoring 4 goals against Iceland on the final match day. Kazakhstan were a joy to watch in the Euro qualifiers, but they did fall off since. They were extremely disappointing in the Nations League, only picking up 1 win the entire calendar year against Turkmenistan. They even lost to North Korea in a friendly last month. Wales have a very solid track record at home as well, so I do think they'll be able to walk out of this one comfortably. I'm saying they win 3-0. We move on now to Matchday 2, starting off with Lithuania versus Finland. It's too tough to make a call on Finland right now. Like I said, they're going to be one of those mystery teams going into this qualifier campaign with new management. They could get upset here, but I'm saying they start off strong and they get a 2-1 victory away. England versus Latvia. 2 matches in a row England get to play at home. quite lucky, and I do think they'll be able to walk out away with this comfortably. I'll go quite bold here and say it finishes 6-0. Albania versus Andorra. Albania will definitely save some energy for this match after they face England, because this is one where they very much should be getting 3 points. And I think they very much have what it takes. They're playing at home. They have the much stronger squad, much better track record. They're going to win this one 3-0. San Marino versus Romania. I said Romania would draw the last one, but they should win quite convincingly here. I'll say, even away, they're able to score 3 goals against San Marino. Bosnia also very much need to go to winning ways here. If my prediction for them against Romania is correct, it's still not good enough for them. They very much need to get 3 points in a fixture like this, and I think they will. I'll say it's quite narrow though, just a 2-1 victory against Cyprus. Poland versus Malta. Poland definitely have what it takes to get 6 for 6 points. Again, don't rule out Malta. They could sneak in a draw, but I'm saying they don't, and Poland win 3-1. Moldova versus Estonia is very tough to call. Battle of the minnows. Who's going to want it more? Well, Moldova in recent qualified campaigns definitely have more of a resume, but definitely should still not rule out Estonia. They could push for another run like they had in the Euro 2012 qualifiers. I don't think it's going to happen though. Will be an interesting match though. I say this one finishes in a 2-2 draw. Liechtenstein versus Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan have very much dropped in form, but I still think they have what it takes to get 3 points against Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein only seem to be getting wins when they organize friendlies outside of Europe recently. I mean, you can say the same thing about Kazakhstan, but like I said, they're going to want to redeem themselves after what happened with Euro 2024. That was a massive confidence boost for them. They just need to return to those ways once again. They currently are relying on a caretaker manager right now, Ali Aliyev, but I do think he can manage a 2-0 victory here. Gibraltar versus Czechia next. Wow, Czechia definitely have quite a doable international break, do they? But can they have another very convincing result against the mighty Gibraltar? They'll be traveling away though. I'll still say they win this one 7-0. Montenegro versus the Faroe Islands next. Maybe the Faroes can squeeze through for a draw, but I do think Montenegro will pull off a 2-1 victory. Macedonia versus Wales now. Tough one to call. Probably Wales are the slight favorites, but you can't rule out Macedonia. These guys want to get their redemption after what happened in the last World Cup qualifiers. Defeating Italy in the playoffs and then falling short to Portugal. How unlucky were they to be in that playoff path? In any others, they might have been able to squeeze through for a World Cup spot for the first time in their history. There's just no question about it. Things are going Wales' way right now under Craig Bellamy. Their only shortcoming at the moment is Harry Wilson's injury. North Macedonia, you can argue, have not been challenged enough in the Nations League. Armenia was definitely not looking to be in solid form, and that was their toughest opponent on paper. Most people will be favoring Wales, but I am going to say this finishes in a 1-1 draw. Depending on how things go, I could see Wales definitely winning that second leg, but with them playing away, Macedonia might be able to pull off something here. And the final match we're looking at is Israel versus Norway. Like I mentioned, Israel have been regaining themselves after an admirable way to get knocked out of the League A in Nations League. While Norway cruised through their group, but now they very much need to have a solid display in the World Cup qualifiers. Finally, playing away will be tough for this nation, but I think they can just squeeze through here with a 2-1 victory. Maybe I'm speaking too soon and I'll jinx them, but I think it might be finally time for Norway to qualify for the World Cup. But there you have it, guys. Those are all of my qualifier predictions for match days 1 and 2. Like I mentioned, not every team will be here as we are waiting for the Nations League to wrap up, but it is still an incredible way to kick off the campaign. Let me know your predictions as always in the comments below. World Cup qualifiers and also the Asian Cup qualifiers will be beginning as well. I made a prediction video for that quite a while ago. If you missed it, make sure you check it out as well. If you want to see me react to these predictions, make sure you just leave a like button and subscribe if you have not already. Anyway, I will see you all very, very soon. Take care. Boa noite.